You're probably scrolling through a dozen laser level options right now, wondering if any of them will actually save you time on the job site instead of becoming another piece of junk you tuck away in a corner. It's easy to feel the sting of buying a tool that looks good on paper but falls apart when the sun's out, the ground is uneven, or the weather turns rainy. I get that hesitation because I've spent a lot of evenings comparing specs, watching unboxing videos, and reading the fine print on warranty pages just to avoid another wasted dollar. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. Let's talk about the STABILA LAR 300 Rotary Laser Level Set. This isn't just another cheap line laser you point at a wall and hope it stays true. It's a full rotation laser that promises a 600-foot visible range, a rugged IP65 rating, and a temperature-tolerant design that can survive the kind of extremes you see on a construction site. Those are the headlines, sure, but what really matters is how those claims translate when you set it up on a job site, a backyard renovation, or a large indoor space. First, who actually benefits from a rotary laser like this? If you're a contractor laying a foundation, a landscape professional needing to grade a slope across a half-acre, or an Indo-Orphitout crew establishing level references for suspended ceilings, the LAR 300 hits the sweet spot. The 360-degree laser line means you can walk around the perimeter of a site and still see a consistent reference without having to relocate a handheld unit every few feet. The included tripod is sturdy enough to sit on concrete, packed dirt, or even a wooden deck, and the IP65 rating guarantees that a sudden downpour won't short out the electronics. That kind of reliability is worth its weight in gold when you're trying to keep a project on schedule. Now, let's be honest about the practical trade-offs. The first thing I noticed when unpacking the set was the size of the battery pack. STABILA doesn't list an exact runtime, so you have to plan for the worst-case scenario and bring spare batteries or a charger on site. In real-world terms, that means a crew that runs a full day's work should budget extra power cells, especially if you're using the laser in cold weather where battery performance drops. The unit also lacks an integrated self-leveling sensor. You'll need to manually level the tripod until the bubble indicates it's true. For seasoned pros who are used to dialing in a level by eye, that isn't a big deal, but for a DIYer who's never touched a rotary laser, it adds a learning curve. Another point that often trips people up is the visibility of the beam at the maximum 2,600-foot range. The LAR 300 does emit a bright line, but on a sunny day the beam can fade into the background after a few hundred feet unless you pair it with a detector. STABILA sells a separate detector that snaps onto a hard hat or a pole, and that's essentially a required accessory if you need true accuracy at the far end of the range. In other words, the long-range claim is only useful if you're willing to invest in that detector. Otherwise, you'll be limited to what you can see with the naked eye, which is roughly a quarter of the advertised distance in bright conditions. What about durability? The IP65 rating means the unit is dust-tight and can handle water jets. Think of it as being safe to wash down after a muddy day. The housing feels solid, with a rubberized grip that resists slipping, and the laser housing itself is made from a polymer that's designed to survive temperature swings from -20°C up to 55°C. In my experience, that kind of temperature tolerance is a real advantage on sites where you might start early in the morning when it's still freezing, then work into the heat of midday. You won't have to constantly recalibrate because the unit drifts as it expands and contracts. Let's weigh the value proposition. On paper, the LAR 300 is priced in the mid-range for rotary lasers, which puts it above entry-level models that often lack dust protection, but below the high-end units that come with built-in detectors and automatic self-leveling. If you already own a detector, or you're comfortable adding one to your kit, the LAR 300 offers a solid mix of range, ruggedness, and price. It's a tool that will pay for itself on jobs where you need to lay a level line over a large area repeatedly. Think grading a driveway, installing a pool deck, or aligning a series of interior walls. The money you save in labor time can easily offset the upfront cost, especially when you compare it to renting a rotary laser for each project. On the flip side, if you're a homeowner who only needs a level for a small bathroom remodel or a one-off fence line, you'll probably be better off with a simple line laser that's cheaper and comes with a built-in detector. The LAR 300's extra range and waterproof rating